Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us at 4 p.m., which is an unusual time slot for us, but 4 p.m. today it is. This is the latest in the series of NORA Winners Webcast series. Winners Webcast series because what we're doing is we're speaking with all of the organisations who have been winners in this year's National Online Recruitment Award, the 21st, as you can see in the logo up here. 21st annual NORA's was held on the 10th of November. Before the event, of course, we don't know, no one knows who the winners are going to be, but after the event, what we'd like to do is speak in more detail with the organisations who have won NORAs and been recognised as award worthy. Now, our guest today, our guest organisation today, is very special guests because they have they're winners of the NORA Academy Award. The Academy Award is different from all of our other awards. Just to explain. Each year we receive, and this year we received about 10,000 nominations from the public for recruitment websites right across the board, including job boards, agencies, employers, publications, and so on. And all of those nominations come from the public, and our judges then assess the websites based on what job seekers would want. So they assess all of the recruitment websites from a candidate's perspective. However, in the 21 years of the NORA history, all of the companies who have been finalists and winners in the NORAs, they get to be NORA Academy members. So as Academy members, they get an extra special job or responsibility, and that's that they can vote for the Academy Award. So what we do is we ask the Academy members of the companies that have been shortlisted as finalists this year, who do they believe represents the very best in online recruitment excellence? And this year, we had 3 finalists, and our guest today is the winner of said NORA Academy Award. So with that being said, let me invite to the stage my very special guest for today, Ian McMullin from McCarthy Recruitment. Ian, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thanks for joining us today. I double-checked the history books, and McCarthy Recruitment have been winners of the best small recruitment agency website twice. I think it was 2007, 2008, or 8 and 9. So this is the third trophy that you've won.
It is, yeah. And I think I said on the night, actually, the awards probably whilst it's always great to win for your website itself. This award was extra special to win because of the fact that it was, I guess, voted for by your peers. And that doesn't, I think, take anything away from candidate votes, because I guess if your candidates are voting for you, that would tend to say that you're delivering what they want through your website.
Yeah.
But no, so for us, it was an extra special surprise.
Yeah. So to backtrack a little, for anyone who is not fully up to speed with yourself and with McCarthy, can you give us a bit of a background for you and your role within McCarthy in the history of McCarthy Recruitment?
Wow, yeah, can do. Let's give you a very brief potted history. Otherwise, we could take the whole half an hour to talk about that. So we're 17 years of trading. We set out initially as more focused on the retail sector. That's where we were all background of retail, so that's how we kind of established ourselves. And it was Kate McCarthy who set the business up, and I joined her after 18 months of the business trading. So we've kind of gone through the highs and lows of recruitment and recessions, and then obviously recently COVID. We've evolved and changed what our perspective is. We've very much now become more known as leadership recruiters. So we now work across virtually every sector you can imagine, but it's about recruiting leadership value and recruiting to sort of behaviours of people rather than specific a role. So we've evolved a lot. And then just before, in fact 2 weeks before COVID, we did an MBO, and then myself and 3 others of the management team became owners of the business. And Kate's still very much involved, but as a sort of non-exec director. And what better to have somebody who's managed a business of their own for 16 years to be, your non-exec director that you can tap into all the time and get and seek advice from. So
absolutely.
And then her role is very much, she does a lot more now in the wider business of recruitment in the sector, a lot of consultancy work, which brings business to us, and it's a great partnership. It works really, really well.
So remind me, what year was the company set up in the first place?
2005 we started.
2005, yeah.
And so I think we won those two awards with 7 and 8, so 2007, 2008.
That's what made me think. So that's really pretty quick going. So from the earliest days, being represented well online was really important to the company, and really important to make sure that your character was represented in the website.
Definitely, and I think it's funny because when gosh, we think about 15 years, 16 years ago, websites were really different then anyway. So the evolution of what's gone on and probably more of the technical stuff and what people do with websites now has changed phenomenally. But yeah, and I think since then, I think we're on about version 7 now of the site, and we've evolved it, and it's kind of grown up, because for anyone who's watching that knew our website in the earlier days, it was full of very cheeky looking characters. We kind of designed around recession time, actually, we decided to sort of productize and make characters of the different packages that we did to make it a bit more interesting, because I don't know, traditionally recruitment websites are a bit kind of flat and same old, and don't let your character of the business come shining through. And I think that's really important. For me, that's a great connection. So and we've evolved those characters, and they grew up about 2.5, 3 years ago. It became a little bit more adult in their version, and we're currently working on another change. All of the characters will definitely be remaining as they are.
In the NORAs, one of the things I find fascinating, and maybe it's just because of my perspective, because I'm looking at hundreds of recruitment websites every year, and I will see the evolution of sites from their earliest days to where they are now. And it's not always the case, but it's often the case, often enough that it's remarkable to see the evolution with their various iterations of a site as it improves and gets better, and the things that weren't working are dropped, and the things that were working are stepped up a gear. So that's very definitely the case with McCarthy, and as you were saying, very much a specialist recruiter in the early days, and niche, and leveraging the experience that you had in expertise in retail to then grow from that and go further. Your background's from retail as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I started out in retail. Yeah, retail and hospitality, and they're still the core of some of the roles and some of the candidates and clients that we work with. Yeah, but it's just expanded and changed. And COVID's been a big factor in that. I guess we lost 95% of our work overnight with COVID. Yeah. Well,
it's really important. Yeah, really important for most smaller recruitment companies. Even some of the much larger recruitment firms are niche in what they do, in as much as they'll focus on a particular area, they'll have expertise in a certain sector, and they'll build out from there. But again, that's where your credibility lies. That's where that comes from, because you know a certain sector inside out. But as with any recruitment firm, you need to be agile enough to make the switches as and when necessary and respond to the marketplace, not only from your clients, but what candidates want. And what candidates want is exactly what we're looking at from the NORA's point of view. You mentioned that the format or the feel of recruitment websites in 2005, and that around that time was quite different to now. But whatever candidates do online, whether it's shopping or looking at entertainment, through websites like YouTube and eBay and Amazon and so on, all of those things inform their expectations as to what they expect from a recruitment website. Well, all websites, but it comes back to recruitment as well. And I would say that because of the nature of what we do with the NORAs, the early site of McCarthy that other people have seen when you won those awards, then that will have given inspiration to other recruitment companies looking at them and thinking that's what good looks like. We need to with the best will in the world, pinch some of the ideas from there and learn how to do that in our sector. And it might not be retail, it might be something else entirely. So what I'm saying is that you've got a leadership position where people are looking at your site, and I think that's been a factor in coming through to the Academy Award. So you mentioned before, the Academy Award is voted for by your peers. Have you had feedback from other companies on, how you do what you do with your websites, and how do you get to be award worthy?
From other people within the sector, or from others just generally about the site?
Generally, and in recruitment.
The biggest single thing that always, most clients or most new clients that come to our site, the first thing that they have in the conversation is, we've rang you because you just look different. Because we felt your personality, and we felt the genuine piece about working together and partnership and building long-term relationships. Now, recruitment is about that, and that's what everyone probably says and pretends or says that they're going to do, but whether you genuinely do it or not. But it always feels to us that people think there's a sincerity in the way that we put that message across. If that's a client ringing for me, then I'll take it. So we've always had that kind of feedback from clients that have come, and candidates as well, really. And I think again, it's about giving them an environment and somewhere they can go and look that actually interests them, that's captivating, that gives them information, that helps them in that journey. And we might not ever help them to get the job that they're looking for, but the fact that they can go on there and they can find some information about how to ace an assessment center or whatever it might be. But again, everyone has that content, but it's how you present that content and how it comes across. And that's always the feedback we've had from candidates about it. I've had a few conversations with a few other recruiters that have, since the awards, that have said, look, well done, and you've always managed to keep that site new and evolving and changing and different. And for me, if you stand still with anything, particularly anything online, then you'll just fall behind. You've always got to be thinking what's next, what's new, what we want to do, but the key for me to that is not creating things that just are there to look nice. It's about, will that benefit the candidate? What does the candidate want from us? How can we make that journey different to them? And we also do a lot of tracking on where people are looking. Where are people coming into the site? What are they looking at? Where are they staying? What are they clearly interested in? What are they not interested in? If they're not interested in something, why is it there? And it could just be we've got the message wrong, and so we'll rechange that, look at that, and then monitor the performance of that going forward. So it's a very intricate game, I think, really, of constantly tweaking and evolving what's there.
So the decisions you make on evolving the website are evidence based. You've got stats to back them up, rather than just on a bit of guesswork.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes when we launch something new, it's based on what we think would be right, or So, but it's really important to monitor and track that. If you don't, how do you know whether it's whether it's worthwhile or not? Content is key.
Going back to one of the things you said at the beginning, recruitment companies often say, "Oh, we're different from everyone else," whilst providing essentially the same service. But it is one of those things that's true and not true at the same time, in as much as recruitment companies are all in the same business, but the makeup of the company that you have, from the recruiters that you have, to the type of market that you're covering, to the way that you deal with clients and candidates, these are all distinctive, and that's what recruitment companies mean when they say we're different. But how can you show that? And if you have a very formulaic, semi-safe recruitment website, then you're not really showing that. But your website is, at the very beginning, when you go to the site, it's distinctive. It's very different. It's the header's on a black background, and it grabs your attention. It's bright, luminous colors, and it might seem simple just to say, oh well, they've gone with the bright colors, but it totally works. It grabs your attention, and it's really simply laid out, especially if you're on mobile devices or on tablets, where there can often be too much information in too small a space. And it's difficult to navigate around. So when you're looking at, and I know we'll get on to talking about the evolution of your new version of your site, but in the decision making for the site that you have just now, what were the key elements that you were thinking about at the start that were most important to how the site was going to look and feel?
I think it's just always about getting the personality across. Because I think that's the first thing that will hit you if you were to sit with our site and get, 10 random other recruitment websites. I think straight away you hopefully say, wow, there's something about this that's giving me some level of personality. It's about being bold about what you put on there, being, we're proud of the fact that they're our colours, they've been our brand colours all these years, so let them sing, let them work, let them do their thing, but then keep using those same themes to create something new, something stylistic that will catch the eye. We'll go back and forth between me and Andy, who came on the night to the awards. He'll come up with an idea, we'll develop it. I'll say, that's great, I like that bit, I don't like that bit, it needs more of this. And between us, we can have that creative feel, and we get to the point where we feel, that's just, I don't know, sometimes it's a bit of a strange, it's a strange formula in the mind as to what it looks like. And probably because I've been working and having that brand as part of me now for 16 years in the business alongside Kate, you just get to know what is right for our brand and what isn't right for our brand. But it's just about getting us across as who we are and that personality. We're normal, warm, engaging people that actually really, it's not just about filling vacancies. Yes, I know that's what you need to be as a recruiter to make money, right? So let's not hide away from that. Yeah. But our biggest single satisfaction is working with a business to help them evolve what they do. So we haven't just filled their vacancies. We've guided them and supported them in a direction that perhaps weren't going to go in. And we've filled different vacancies than they originally thought they had. Yeah. I mean, we do so much more consultancy now as a business. It's not just filling vacancies. And a lot of the clients we have has come from that consultancy. And I think that's because we've become known to be have a good word in the industry. We know our stuff. We know what we're talking about. We've got credibility. There's quite a number of features on the website of Kate's work on the BBC. I guess you don't get asked to go to the BBC to always comment on what's going on in the world of recruitment unless your word is valued. And so it's about us building on that and having credibility. And I think all of what we do with our clients and with our candidates builds that credibility. So there's very few dissenters that will say, well, they're not what they say they are. So then if we present ourselves in that fashion with something really eye-catching, that's the difference, I think. You've got to back that eye-catching thing up with who you are and what you're about.
Yeah, that I do bang on about it a lot, but demonstrating your expertise is that leads to your credibility, because you demonstrate your expertise, people come to you for help and assistance, and through doing the work with them, you build up your credibility, and that brings people back, and that's all part of building your brand, building your reputation, and again, having a site that shows that you're approachable, that you're open to discussing areas out with, say, your core competencies, because you can bring your expertise to other areas. That is what builds your reputation. And as you were saying, the website has to have that flavor of your personality as a company. All companies have a brand reputation and their own distinct personality. And especially when the leadership of a company changes, sometimes people think, it's not the same. But again, Kate's still involved, but you've been involved from the earliest days as well. So the brand of the company is a meld, if you like, of the people in the organization, and what you want to represent the company as. And candidates want that consistency of being dealt with in a professional manner, in a way that they expect. So in terms of design and the technical side of things, do you commission all this yourself? Do you have a specialist organization who builds the site alongside you? Do you have in-house designers? How do you put your ideas into practice?
So we don't build it ourselves. We've always had a company that would build it for us. And those companies have changed a couple of times through the years. But the content creation, design, ideas is all in-house. We do it all in-house and very much involved. So again, Andy is very clear on it. He really gets our brand and what we're all about. In fact, he was a very brave man when he turned up, and after about 2 weeks of being in the business said, I'd really like to change the website around. And it was him who came up with a slightly more grown-up theme, and we lost a couple of colours, because we used to have purple and yellow as part of our 5 colours of McCarthy. We lost them a couple of years ago, and we kind of evolved and grew with it. But he was very clear on the fact that he felt he could represent us in a slightly more kind of grown-up way, and that was part of that evolution. But we also very much involve the whole team. So it's about, our team is kind of reflected in what we have on there and the way we talk. So when we want to change a page or we want to update something, I talked very early on in the show, we talked about productizing. We did that back in 2007, 2008. But we've kind of looked and learned a lot from those products, and some of them are not relevant. Others we can display and talk about in a different way, because they've grown and they've developed, and we've done different things with them. And part of the refresh that's coming on the website is going to make that element of our products a lot clearer to see, a lot easier to understand. But that design and those content ideas we've gone to the team and we've said, look, we want we're going to lose that product, we're going to lose that, we're going to build this one differently. How can we, what's that message? How can we put that message together? What would you want to see and read and feel to get to know what we are like as a business?
To give us an idea of scale, how many people are in McCarthy altogether?
25 at the moment.
Okay, so one thing, and I've been a small agency owner myself years ago. One thing that recruitment firms sometimes want to do is they want to appear bigger than they are. They want to, seem as if they're a multinational global organization when the truth is, it might be 20 or 30 or 50 people in the company altogether, and their ambition means that they kind of want the website to give an impression that's a bit bigger than they are. Now, your website doesn't do that. What it does say is, to me, what it says is capable. What it says is approachable. And what it says is, we are. If you engage with us, we'll engage with you right back. So it's an interaction, it's a conversation going on, as opposed to just we are the big I am. And I'm a big fan of. I'm very much in favor of people who say, when you represent yourself accurately, then you're more authentic. And as you're saying, if you can have your recruiters and people in the company involved in generating the content, then that content will be authentic. That content will be singing from the same hymn sheet. Different people generating different content, obviously, and slight differences there, but they're coming at it from the same direction. So it's not being contracted out to some external agency who comes up with natty blog posts on how to go and look for a job in a particular sector. It's not copy and paste from elsewhere.
No, it's all done internally, and the website is, but also all the socials. Because I mean, for me, socials is just as big, if not bigger these days, than the website. But all that social content's internally created. I still sign it all off. I think it's important to do that, because ultimately it's us, it's our message, it's who we are, it's what we're all about. But I mean, the guys get it pretty much bang on. The storytelling's exactly where it needs to be, and it's just more about does it fit exactly on point, and is there a little tweak we can make? But no, that for me is really key, that the team have a huge impact on what that looks like.
Recruiters often, in my experience, when you say to them, look, we want you to be involved in generating content for the website. We'd like you to come to us with a story of something that's happened, what you did to resolve it, and what was the upshot at the end of the day. And often I've been met with blank stares and go, well, what could we write about? We don't have any stories. But the truth of it is that every day in every recruitment company, there's a story in every corner. And it's, I suppose, getting recruiters to recognize that. How do you Jamie content from your recruiters?
And that goes in waves. It can be, it's not easy to constantly generate that, because, like you say, recruiters often come in head down, get on with what they're doing, and they kind of don't think about that wider picture. But it's about, for me, it's about the passion of the team that's pulling that together. So I've got two people who do that. One, Andy and Rachel, and they pull that together. But their passion and their desire to always have something new, that I guess they're just constantly talking with the team. So I don't have them sat in an office somewhere else. They don't sit in an admin office. They're part of my team. They need to be there, living, breathing, seeing it. So if someone gets an offer, or someone gets a new client on board, or somebody gets an amazing candidate that they've been searching for all week, then they're part of that celebration. So they're feeling, living, breathing us, our culture, our values, our beliefs, everything we do. They're just part of it. And so I guess their job is then to say, hang on a minute, can I just capture that, and can I do something with that? But you can't sit down at the end of the week and say, right, what's happened this week, and what can we create some content around? Because everyone's like, well, it's Friday, I want to go home, I'm done for the week, kind of thing.
Well, you can't go back and take that photograph that you should have taken at the time. You've
got to capture it when it's happening, and that's why those guys are part of the team. They sit there, they're with them, they know what's going on, they're feeling it.
So having as part of their core function, again, in days gone by, as a recruiter, I'd be going to industry events, trying to just put my face out there and be in amongst people, not necessarily getting candidates and jobs there and then, but being visible. And what that was an investment in business that I would have coming in the future. And it's the same with this. When you do this, when you write these stories, each recruiter is demonstrating their own expertise. They're showing that they're part of the wider team, and they're building their brand and the company's brand. So that is an investment in business that will come down the line in the same way as we did in different ways before.
Yeah, and that business doesn't come straight off that post. It's about building that messaging. It's about building that, it's about that credibility. And, we've got a credible brand because of everything we do and because of our BBC focus and stuff. But no single activity from a social or a website is ever going to bring you the piece of business. It's all of them. It's that messaging, that's that constant messaging that's out there that builds people's knowledge and awareness of you and thinks, oh, they'll look like people I should be doing business with, and then you get the contact. And again, is the stuff that you're sharing right across your site about the people in the business. Everyone is approachable. Everyone, if a candidate is looking to find out what's this recruiter about, what other vacancies are they working on, are they the recruiter I should be speaking with, then they can do all of that. And people do so much research before they contact an organization these days that the information is all there. Don't make it hard for them. And wherever you can, use video content. Yeah, no, for sure. And again, we're refreshing some of that. It's important. You can't just remain the same video content. Is it right? Is it accurate? Can it change? Can it be different? And videos as well. From a testimonial perspective, for me, that's one of the biggest things we probably focus on in the last 12 months. Is you can write words from people, but if they actually commit to doing it on video, then the believability factor is so much more.
I found so I was working with a company recently, and they were out with a client, and in the meeting with the client, they were talking about what we're going to do to work on this vacancy, and in their mind, they're thinking, well, what we're looking for here is a retained assignment, because we want to invest our time and effort to get this job done. Candidates are scarce. The jobs are plentiful. We need to go and compete to find the candidates. So right there, they said, well, what we'd like to do is make a recruitment advert. Can we? We've got the gear here, and the gear here was smartphone and a tripod. Can we film you, the hiring manager, talking about the vacancy, how the job came up, what you're looking for in key characteristics of a candidate for the role, and what the prospects are for someone in the role. So they did that there and then, and by doing that, they secured the business and got the retained assignment because they were on the front foot. They took the initiative, and it was a way of securing commitment from the client, because the client was A, surprised, B, engaged, and C, saw that they were serious about filling this vacancy. So when it came to what we recommend in this instance, Mr. Client, is a retained assignment where we'll bill a proportion of the fee up front, and so on and so on. And it was a great way of doing that. So video content is great for that. And also, people often forget that some video content will be perennial and always be up to date, but others you can retire as and when it's out of date. So if there's stuff from before the pandemic that's not appropriate now, just retire it. Drop it from your YouTube channel, drop it from anywhere else, make new content. It's so easy to make content these days that you can easily replace that. If you had something that featured someone in the business who's not there anymore, well, you can remake it with someone else who's now in the business. It's more straightforward than you think. So in terms of engaging with candidates, in terms of watching their behaviours, you're measuring the stats all the time, and you're seeing what works. Can I ask, what behaviours are you seeing just now that are leading your thoughts for the future, for the new version of your website? You were talking about thinking about the latest iteration coming up.
Big challenge, because there's a lot of candidates. I mean, about 80% of what we're filling role-wise at the moment is from proactive search, so it's not from applications. So for us, it's about making sure that the application process is quick, smart, easy, and the most important thing for me with that is actually making sure that for the long term that we keep engaged with that candidate. So not just that they're registered with us now, but that we have regular contact. And regular contact can't be that we're picking the phone up to every candidate. Clearly, if we've not got a role for them, we're not going to do that. But it's about how that site can continually engage with that candidate to make sure that they know that we're still here. We know that we've still got their data. They know that we're still looking for an opportunity for them. And if one comes along, that we'll be in contact with them. But making sure that the data we've got is accurate. It's always up to date. It's always, where it needs to be. They might have changed roles or had a better salary or whatever else. So we won't bother them with the wrong phone call. It'll be the right one. And for me, at the moment, we'll do everything we can to attract as many candidates to the site as we can, and we'll register them and get those numbers there. And if they apply for roles, fantastic. For us, though, it's about making sure that those who do, we capture them in the right way, so that when we're doing all our proactive work, they're almost as good as they are applying to us right now, and our engagement with the site right now, because what we've got from them, with the data we have from them, is up to date. So we will be making the right contacts.
So that program of nurturing not only keeps you on the right side of GDPR, but it does mean that when your recruiters are looking at the details on any candidate, then it's going to be up to date. It'll have more richer information on what this candidate's preferences are, and it should mean that you're finding the right candidates faster than your competitors to satisfy the needs of your clients. Not only on filling jobs, as you say, but on the consultancy work as well, where your expertise has to be as up to date as possible, because when you're giving information to clients, they need to be able to rely on that. So having that nurture program with candidates where you're interacting with them on a regular basis gives you the information to give you that expertise.
Absolutely. And the consultancy side is another element of it, where what we're trying to do and what we will be doing is trying to do lots more storytelling so if a client lands on there, they actually can get some real life stories of things that we've done, and we've helped a client. We've helped clients with unconscious bias. That's been our biggest single topic this year. We've helped over 20 clients now with sort of supporting them look at their recruitment process and how they can change it so that they can avoid unconscious bias, and how they can train their managers in how to make better recruitment decisions. So in a way, sometimes that can do you out of working roles. But why work roles for a business that you're constantly putting water into a sieve that's flowing out? Surely a better relationship with the client is to help them understand what they really need, get their team around them, interviewing in the right way, add in some real value, and then you secure a relationship where they'll only ever use you. Might be less, but they'll only ever use you, so there's no risk. So that consultancy method and I guess the communication, the storytelling around that is really key for us at the moment.
On that topic of diversity hiring, you must have seen companies up and down the country changing the logos to include a rainbow and thinking, hold on a second, we've been doing this for years.
Yes. And it's the biggest challenge. It's the biggest challenge, I think, out there for businesses, because everyone's got a policy now to say that they will, accept diversity, and they want to recruit diverse people and diverse backgrounds. But how they then go about it is a big challenge. And I think that's one of the bigger challenges for the industry over the next coming couple of years, is how you can actively go and recruit diversity at the same time as not frustrating others who that would perhaps wouldn't then be wouldn't be able to get that job. It's a real challenge, because it's got to be about the right person for the role.
Really important for companies to be able to demonstrate their diverse policies, their nature, that they're open to a very diverse range of candidates, and at the same time, it's tricky to pull off that trick whilst not appearing like you're just virtue signaling, you're just showing off about it, and again, being as authentic as possible is the way for people to believe you. When you say we are this type of company, we want to become that type of company, we are continually evolving, and we want you to be part of that. So it sounds genuine. People will believe it because it's true, not because you've been able to hoodwink them in any way. And again, you've been able to give that consultancy on what works, what doesn't work, and how companies can genuinely push towards that. That's absolutely the future of recruitment. So I mentioned there about the new iteration of the website. What's it going to look like next year? Is it going to be all white? Is it going to be unicorns across the website? Is it going to be any black in there at all?
I'm not sure how much of that I can really give away. We've not finalised some of it. All I'll say is that we're really, really focusing hugely on the client journey and the candidate journey. And can the client or the candidate get to what they need to get to quickly? And is it really clear about what the offering that we have for them, so that there's no, there's no confusion. They don't get lost somewhere in the site. The stats, if you look at anyone's site, the stats of people who land on a site and have gone off really quickly, you'd all sit there crying, about them if you weren't to, if you looked at them too much. It's about how do you engage them, and for me, it's about simplicity. And actually, if all you offer is one product, if all you are as a recruiter, and you just offer recruitment in this sector as a niche, you talked about that earlier on, and a lot of people do niche recruitment, and that's that. Then the messaging is fairly simple. Where we're trying to do something quite different. So we're offering consultancy, we're offering, we're doing a lot of creative work at the moment on helping businesses get their careers microsites in a better place, or they might not even have one. And we're designing and getting them a careers microsite because we understand their brand. So we've got very different offerings here. We can recruit in lots of different sectors. We can offer consultancy and we can offer you creative. So how does that messaging come together to make it a really simple click through to where that person needs to be? And that is our biggest challenge, and that's what we're working on this new the new design that's going to come in the new year. Fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. In the meantime, Ian, can I say thanks for being a great guest today? Have a fantastic Christmas. It's a really unique Christmas tree you've got behind you there. It's got all the coffee cups from all the different locations I spend far too much in. Starbucks coffee, you name it. So. Fantastic. Well, Ian, thanks very much for again being a great guest today. Congratulations again on being the NORA Academy winner. Thanks everyone who's been joining us today live, either on Crowdcast itself or on any of the social media channels that we're streaming out to, and of course anyone who's watching on replay. We will have more shows coming up. I know we've got a scheduled show next week with S1 Jobs. We will also have a show with N10. N10 you might know better as the company who owns every single bookie in the high street. So I think from Ladbrokes to William Hills to many others. And I'm hoping to line up a show with Morrison as well. So there are more shows in the series coming. But in the meantime, can everyone join me and say thank you very much, Ian, for being a guest today, and have a smashing Christmas. Thank you, Stephen. One last thing, look out for me tomorrow. We've got a Christmas mailer going out tomorrow, a Christmas video. Which you won't be disappointed if you see it. I'll look forward to it. Okay, I'll make a point of seeing that and resharing it if it's as funny as it sounds. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.